Hello, everybody. Rocky and Alex here from the Streamline team, where every week I want to give you more information on how you can, number one, save time, save money, get people on your team to really help you out. All right. So, Rocky, what do we got for our listeners today and all of our clients today?
Yes. So, Alex, remember that for our previous episode, we talked about scaling your virtual team, right? So
Yes.
that is one big decision that you had to make when you already have a virtual team with you. Now, this time, what we're going to be talking about would be how or when do you decide to really get a virtual team in the first place, right?
Yeah. Like a lot of people
So,
ask me that. Oh, when do you know?
yeah.
How do you know?
Yep. When is the right time, right? So,
Yeah.
why should I use a virtual assistant for my real estate business specifically?
So now a lot of our patients, I mean, not patients, clients, I should say, are real estate investors, right? You know what? In reality, whether it's patients or clients is really the same thing because we're here to educate them. We're here to teach them, right? We're here to show them what to do and how to do it. And here's the thing. When you are already thinking that you need a virtual assistant, now, it's one thing if you've heard this out of nowhere, like we just popped onto your feed and it's like, whoa, virtual assistants, what's this? It's another when you've been thinking about having a virtual assistant. And now, for the first time, you are listening to us talking about why you need one. Here's the model that I tell all of our clients. If you thought about getting a virtual assistant, you are probably 3 to 6 months behind because you thought about getting one, which means you are already behind, which means that you knew you needed some help right around 3 to 6 months ago because you already know, the person already know they didn't have enough time, right? So the biggest reason to have a virtual assistant is number one, if you're feeling overwhelmed and you don't have anyone on your team, chances are you're working days, early days, middays, evenings, after dinner,
Late.
right? Weekends, Sundays. You don't got time for church. You don't have time for your family anymore. You just don't have time. And you realize one day where it's like, oh my gosh, where did my time go? I spent all this time working to try to enjoy family, but yet I just spent all this time working and not being able to enjoy my family. So that's where you realize you need a virtual assistant.
And, they always say that everyone can make more money,
Uh-huh.
but you cannot make more time, right?
Right.
So that's definitely something that a virtual assistant can help you get back at least.
Oh,
And
on top of that, Rocky,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt. I mean, as a real estate investor, they're always getting information from brokers, right? Information from brokers. Here's what I tell a lot of investors. I say, if you can do it in front of a computer or you have to do it on your phone, chances are a virtual assistant can help you with that, right? Because
yeah,
you're doing it virtually. It's not like you're doing it hands-on. You could probably train someone how to do it, like getting information from a broker, right? And then you mentioned that time versus money idea, right? So it's I believe it's something that many people can benefit from.
yeah, absolutely. And just to clarify, getting a virtual assistant doesn't really mean that you're gonna wear less hats,
Hmm.
but rather big or wear the bigger hats, right? Or the most important hats on your business. So that's definitely something that a virtual assistant can help you with.
Right.
Now, should everyone hire a virtual assistant? I mean, is it really for everyone?
Well, it depends. It depends where you're at in your cycle of business, there's always a talk about money versus time, but time is money, right? It's one or the other. When you first start off a business,
Right.
if you don't have as much money, you have all the time in the world. Now you go ahead and start doing things. But there's come to a point where you have more money than you have time, and you realize, oh my God, my time could be so much better spent making money or being more productive versus whichever task that you can potentially delegate. It's like, for example, calling brokers, right? Calling brokers, getting operating memorandum, people call it the OM, the T12, the trailing 12 months, right, of expenses, the rent rolls. You don't necessarily have to get it from the broker yourself. A virtual assistant can actually make those calls and get them for you, you see? And then at the end of the day, of course, it's got to financially make sense, right? It's got to be worth your while. And that's the key thing, you know? And one of the key things is you got to measure KPIs. People always ask us what KPIs are, right? So what do the KPIs stand for, Rocky?
That's key performance. I forgot the letter
Indicator.
I. Indicators there. We used to call it key performance metrics
Uh-huh.
in corporate,
Yeah.
so I forgot the
KPMs.
letter I.
No, it's KPIs, and everyone talks about KPIs.
Yeah.
I think those words, they just change it up on us once in a while just to keep us on our toes, right? But you know, you measure KPIs, and I always think that what metrics should you measure? It really depends. What's going to help benefit your business the most, right? What's a business? What's a business? A business is something that has to be able to monetarily earn money, right? So what are the top things that you have to do as a real estate investor to make money? Number one, you got to have deal flow, right? You got to be able to analyze deals. There's a saying, Bill Ham, one of our coaches in Jake and Gino, talks about it all the time. You have to analyze at least 80 deals to find a deal. See, now his motto is nothing's a deal until they prove me that it's a deal. It's one of those everybody's guilty until they prove me that they're not type things, right? So that's a KPI that people should look at. What's another thing? Another thing is getting known, getting your face out there in front of people, right? That's where social media comes in. You know, the more posts that you do, the more relevant posts that you do. It's like the videos that we're making right now. You see, the more relevant it is to people, the better it is. And also connecting with others, getting on networking calls. Do you have time to scour the World Wide Web and LinkedIn and everything just to find people to talk to? Not necessarily, but your virtual assistant can help you with that, right? They can get onto your social media, schedule calls, and all the different things for you, right? And that's the key thing on what people should be looking into and doing.
All right. hmm Yeah, with the 80-1 ratio, imagine if you're alone and you have to do everything. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
So,
there's no
and
way.
how many deals do you have? Or how many deals do you have to close in a month, right?
Right.
So, definitely a virtual assistant can help you with that. Now, um, let's talk about the things that a virtual assistant can actually help you with when it comes to, growing your business. What are some tasks that, a virtual assistant can do for you?
Well, if you look at just what we talked about, right? Contacting brokers. Here's how we've used VAs, virtual assistants, to contact brokers. They can look on LoopNet or Crexi, and then they have a Google Voice phone that they can dial, right? And then from there, reach out to the broker, email the broker, and now you're getting the OMs, you're getting the T12s, you can do some preliminary underwriting, right? To see if the debt service ratio, to see if the deal actually works out. What's the expense per unit? And you can find out, is the unit over expensing for what it is? Is there an operating problem? Is there an opportunity, right, to take down this property? Lead generation. and go on social media and get you leads, schedule calls for you so that you don't have to scour the web and schedule calls. Your VA can figure out the Calendly, the schedule, and everything, and figure that out. And then contacting other real estate investors as well, but also taking on phones. Let's say you're a real estate investor and you've got tenants that are looking for you, right? Your virtual assistant can actually pick up the phone, call them, and say, hey, what's going on? Maybe they made an inquiry, right? Maybe a property manager isn't handling things correctly. Maybe you're self-managing and you need someone to be on the phone all the time, right? You need coverage. And that's where a virtual assistant, there's so many things. I always say the question becomes, what can a virtual assistant not do? Right? They could do the books for you, the QuickBooks, figure out the charges. Then you just got to confirm everything's correct.
Right. And this is on top of, being an administrative assistant for yourself,
Right.
right? So there's the possibilities are actually endless, as long, just like what you said, as long as you yourself can do it in front of a computer or on your phone, a virtual assistant can do that too.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. So now that you know what you can do with a virtual assistant to help you scale your business, and thank you, Alex, for giving us all that
Of course.
information. If you still don't know where to find the virtual assistant, we are going to go ahead and put a link below so that you can reach out to us. Feel free to message us on Facebook or on YouTube, right? So that we can help you and guide you on how you can start building your virtual
Yeah.
assistant
And on
team.
top of that, we'll include our Calendly link where people can schedule a call with me and sit down to see if a virtual assistant is right for them.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you very much, Alex, again for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest
Thank
of
you
the
so much,
day.
Rocky. Bye-bye now.